Yo, what up, and welcome back to pnoidnews, man. Listen, we trying out some new shit today, right? Listen, I apologize. Let me get back to the motherfucking screen where I wanted to be at. All right. Yo, listen, I can't. You know what I'm saying? I fucking can't with these people no more. So, I was over here, and the internet's been blowing up about this Nick Fuentes and Piers Morgan interview, right? Where the center lefty people, like Kyle Kalinske from Secular Talk with his weird ass blonde hair and his fucking strange ass fucking old wife with the extra kids, right? And then you got, the New York Times and all these people saying Nick Fuentes embarrassed himself. And all the rest of us over on the internet, right? Everybody says like, yo, Nick, whoop that ass. Okay, so listen, we're going to give y'all some context today. I think that's kind of important in the end of the day, right? You know what I mean? I think that's kind of like, highly important at the second that we give everybody some fucking content. Okay, cool. So we all live. Right? All right. So I grabbed some things to give some context, have a conversation about some of this type of stuff. We're going to go over a little bit of it. I only got like about an hour and a half before I had to go, hour and 20 before I got to go to work. We're going to do what we can when we can do it. You know what I mean? And then we're going to get into it. So listen, I know that like this is cringe. All right. And I'm going to try my best to just cut up clips of this. That way we don't have to like sit here and listen to, an hour and 45 minutes or 2 hours of Piers Morgan clutching his pearls and boomers doing what boomers do best. Okay? And we don't have to go through the whole thing, but I want to hit on the hard points. In particular, the points where Piers Morgan, honest to God, I don't think he knows math. I think he actually doesn't know math. I think he's just somebody who has a decent voice and has just been leaning on that forever, right? He has a decent voice and he argues like a woman. So therefore that has gotten him really far in British media. But you know how the Anglos run. So let's have a conversation. Let's listen to some of this.
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
You're fine with saying you're a racist?
Totally. I think everybody's racist. I think everybody, if we're being honest, is racist. I think everybody, the only people that aren't racist or pretend not to be are white people to their detriment. Everybody else is racist.
Hasn't the left run around for like the past, 20 years screaming that everybody's fucking racist? Like, isn't that something that legitimately happened? You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I don't think Nick's a grifter. I'm be honest with you. I don't think Nick's a grifter, dog. Right? You know what I mean? Like, I know that, like, everybody stand here and tries to say that, like, by the way, what up, underdog? Nice to see you. I am my brother. I know that everybody says that, like, Nick's a grifter. I'm going to keep it 100 with you, right? There's a reason why Donald Trump doesn't drink, right? There's a reason why it is that, like, Andrew Tate don't do drugs, right? There's a reason why Nick Fuentes don't drink, do drugs, or, like, fucking have sex with women. I think that like all these individuals who are doing this shit, right, are legitimately trying to eliminate like risk. And they're taking this shit seriously. So I don't think he's a fucking grifter. Because if he was a grifter, he'd be out here fucking bitches and smoking weed and drinking. I think he does some coke and some fucking Adderall, like 100%. You know what I mean? Like he looks like the type of motherfucker who do some coke and some Adderall. I'm going to keep it a boom with you. Like, listen, yes, like he is the upper type of guy. You can just see that in his face. But listen, let's keep rocking.
Earlier in the interview, you really got aggrieved at the idea that your father was a racist. You wanted to make emphatically sure.
Yeah, because
he's not.
Because my father doesn't share my same views on that.
So he's the exception to the everyone's a racist.
Well, everybody's a little bit racist. You're right. So maybe everybody. The difference is you're attacking my father. He could get fired from his job.
I'm not attacking your father.
You are.
No, I'm not. I don't know your father. And to be clear, I have no knowledge about him at all.
Well, then let's leave him out of it. Let's leave him out of it if you don't know him.
Hang on, Nick. You put that story into the public domain on your show. I'm simply reminding you of what you told everybody, millions of people, about your father. If you now want to retract it, fine. If you want to say it was a joke, which is what your position was earlier, fine. but I'm allowed to put to you things you've said publicly. That's not unfair. That's not me targeting your father. You put that story about him out
You know
there.
what you're doing. You know what you're doing.
I'm asking you about a pretty shocking anecdote, which to me looked like you were saying your father made decisions about where you as a family would eat based on skin.
Yo, listen, I get what he's doing. He's doing the, like, Piers Morgan's trying to do the American History X thing, right? Where, like, if you didn't see the movie, it's a great fucking movie. You should fucking watch it, right? Because, like, it doesn't defeat racism, right? Because at the end of the day, like, fucking his little brother still gets shot by a black guy. Spoilers, nigga. Spoilers. Right? But, like, in one part of the movie, you know what I mean? It was fucking, in the beginning of the movie, it was basically the main character, Edward Norton. His dad got killed by a bunch of gangbangers out in L.A., right? And he getting killed by gangbangers out in L.A. They gave Edward Norton like an interview, like, you know, like the news comes up. Oh, how do you feel your father was killed? It's like he was putting out a fire in a fucking nigger neighborhood. These fucking niggers don't know what the fuck they're doing. Fuck them, right? All this type of shit. Then, like, later on in the movie, they show his dad going like, fucking, listen, you know, Edward Norton was a kid in high school or whatever, and he's like fucking standing here and he's like, hey, you know, there's this guy and fucking he's really interesting, and he's talking about Malcolm X and all this type of stuff, and he goes, listen, son. Fucking nigger bullshit, right? And they try to like go, oh, this is why he was fucking racist. It's like, no. His dad got killed by a bunch of black people, right? In a place where, let's be honest, we're talking about the 1970s and 80s where they were deindustrializing motherfucking Compton and Stockton. These are the parts that we're not, see, listen, we never talk about economics. We never talk about industrial policy, right? Because in the 1950s, black people had a higher marriage rate and like a fucking lower out of wedlock birth rate than white people did. Right? See, these people act right. Everybody acts right when we have fucking jobs. It's jobs. Like, listen, we need jobs. You know what I mean? But when all of a sudden them jobs are going and everybody's competing, right? What did you have is one group versus the other group. That's why like this shit kind of dissipated 80s, 90s a little bit. You know what I mean? Everybody was kind of doing all right a little bit. Like it was still there under the surface. Like I still knew some KKK type of Nazi guys, right? I wasn't one of them. The reason is because, again, I'm an Italian. So therefore we kind of walk in both worlds as far as shit's concerned, where it's like, yeah, my skin's kind of light, but on the same level, we're still kind of hyper violent, very passionate people, and that doesn't mix well in Anglo society, right? But let's keep going. You know what I mean? Like fucking this shit's kind of retarded, right? I'm probably gonna fast forward through some of this.
Color of people is not what it.
I'm sticking to my guns. If I don't say my father's a racist, you're putting him in jeopardy, and he's not here to defend himself or explain his views. And it's very low. And I think So
Okay, well, then your father on your show. Do that. But if with your own words.
Whoa.
With your own words.
That's a little presumptuous. I'm not going to say it's an ambush, but I think that's a low blow. And I think you know what you're doing, and that's fine. You're a tabloid journalist. I expected that. I don't think it's an ambush because I knew it would be like this. And people will see what you're doing, and I think they'll say it's low. But as far as you want to talk about racism,
I do.
Let's talk about racism.
Okay,
let's leave my dad out of it.
Look, you've admitted you're a racist, correct?
Yes, 100%.
Okay.
Own it.
Okay, that's fine. You're perfectly entitled in a free democratic.
Oh, listen. All right, and this is the thing, right? So, real underdog, right? My brother underdog, man. Listen, you've been with me since the beginning, okay? So like, yo, me and we're having a conversation, me and you don't pull this out of context in any way, right? Listen, we all flip-flop on shit back and forth, right? And, you know, we're all going to stand here and, like, get upset. And especially, like, Jimmy Dore said this really well. He said, make them come get your fucking vote, right? When you see Donald Trump standing here doing this fuck shit with Israel and doing this fuck shit with, you know what I mean, Peter Thiel and his boys, right? And doing this fuck shit where he's promoting data centers that are draining all the water and running our electricity bills up. You know what I mean? He's like, listen, I would rather run this motherfucker into the ground and start over again than continue to fucking have to go through this fucking bullshit. You know what I mean? Italians are not white, by the way. Yo, listen, all right, we are white people, okay? Like your Western civilization, when we say civilization, you say Rome, pussy. You say Rome. Yo, listen. Yo, when you think of civilization, what do you think of? Pillars, motherfucking coliseums, and gladiuses, baby. All right, when we found you, we put you to the fire and the motherfucking sword. Get nothing misunderstood. Nick said the same exact thing. You know why? Because he's a half a guinea too. All right, yo, get the fuck out of here. Listen, by the way, man, welcome, my brother. Let me see. Oh, well, let me do it. Well, let me do it from here. I'm gonna tell you what. I'm gonna give you a wrench. Let me hop on my motherfucking phone. We're gonna keep rocking though.
Society to stare down the barrel of his camera and tell me you're a racist. People can judge you accordingly. Many people who have assumed that you're racist will now have heard it from your own lips. That's fine.
There you go.
That's the point. The point of this interview is to go over the things you've said, which have led people to reach conclusions about you, and to ascertain. Another clip. This is what you talk about.
First, white people are every single bit justified in being racist. Every single bit justified, to the extent that that means going out of your way to avoid black people when you see them.
You stand by that?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Absolutely.
So white people should go out of their way to avoid black people when they see.
I mean, they act like we don't, right? Like, yo, do you know what the suburbs are, bro? Like, yo, the suburbs are literally like white people trying to escape black folks. You know what I'm saying? And Ninja, by the way, you know what I'm saying? Welcome. You know what I'm saying? Welcome, my brother. Welcome. You know what I mean? Ninja Turtle. Listen, I gave you a fucking wrench, right? So you can motherfucking, you know what I mean? Like, you know, be part of the wrench no state. You know, fucking, so, you know, it is what it is. You know what I mean? Let's keep rocking though. Let's keep rocking.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah, the suburbs are literally like white people trying to escape the cities that got filled with black people. And why did the cities get filled with black people? Let's keep this a bean too. All right. Like there's this great article on Substack from John Carter, right, on Social Matters. They sat here and they explained that like what they did was, in order to break the ethnic white unions that were in like the cities back in the like 30s and 40s and 50s, right? They fucking brought in massive amounts of black people. Right. You know what I mean, to try and break the fucking unions of white people that demanded like proper pay and, you know what I mean, like proper working conditions, all that type of shit. And that's why they were there. It's not black people's fault, right? In the end of the day, it's not, you know what I'm saying? It's literally like fucking the goddamn Ford Foundation and, you know what I mean, like the Rockefeller Foundation and all these people who, you know what I mean, sat here and went, oh, well, you know, they deserve, like that's what civil rights was all about. In the end of the day, like civil rights wasn't about giving people freedom. It was about expanding the labor force. Like, yo, once you understand this is all economics in the end of the day. And like, you're out here fighting this cultural battle when they're fighting a money battle, and you should be fighting a money battle. Right? That's what you should be fighting, is a money battle. Right? Because that's what they're doing. They're wrapping their fucking greed in motherfucking, like, in these beautiful terms of, you know what I mean, this, you know, United Colors of Benetton bullshit, right? Where it's, you know, oh, everybody deserves this and that. And fuck that, bro. Listen, get that noise. You're just trying to rob me. That's what you need to do. You're just trying to rob me. That's it. Once you put it in those terms, right? They all of a sudden don't got no fucking cover, because that's exactly what it is. Understand what this struggle is. They're trying to make sure that you fuck yourself out of getting more money. They're robbing everybody, right? Under the guise of being not racist. You have to either A, be racist, or B, and which works too, you know what I'm saying? Like, if you can convince everybody to be a racist, which makes you the bad guy in the end of the day, which I'm fine with being the bad guy. I'm cool with that too. But you should just go, stop trying to fucking rob me. Because that's what this is.
They would be wise.
Why?
Because it's a lose-lose proposition. If you're Irina Zarutska and you don't walk the other way, you get stabbed to death and you die. If you're somebody else and you walk on the subway and you stand near a black person or something, maybe it's fine. It's a lose-lose proposition. So no, I think that white people have been beaten into submission, that we're afraid to tell the truth about it. And the truth is that when you go into these major cities like New York or Chicago, I believe she was in North Carolina, there is a menace, which is young, black, adolescent men. They're extremely violent. And we have been told that we have to pretend like they are every other person. We have to be colorblind to that. And we're supposed to go and be in the midst of all this danger And I think that at this point, it's gotten out of control. You look at the BLM movement, they said that the reason that black people, are violent, or the reason there's crime, is because of police brutality, or redlining, or all these other things. They said we need to get rid of the police. We need to defund them. And a lot of cities did. A lot of cities like Chicago, for example, the police changed the rules of engagement. They don't chase them. It's not a felony if you steal a certain amount of merchandise. They won't chase them on foot. And now the city's totally up for grabs. And now, whether you're in the Gold Coast, or whether you're on the Mag Mile, or you're in the worst neighborhoods in the city, you might get shot, you might get mugged, someone might run up on you. And I tell my followers, it is better to be perceived as racist or racist and walk the other way and maybe keep your life than to say, I'm a good anti-racist. I don't mind that this person's making me uncomfortable. Maybe he's looking a little froggy. I'm going to sit down because I'm a good person, and get stabbed, mugged, whatever. And by the way, this is a strategy. They call it the friendly stranger. There's a crew of them. They do this in Chicago. They stand outside bars, black people. They approach strangers. It's a robbery crew. And they pretend to be a friendly stranger, and then they mug them. And stupid white people say, oh, hi, yeah, nice to meet you. They grin, they laugh, they put up with the nonsense, and then they get mugged, or worse. Sometimes they get executed. And so as a white person,
how do you feel about mass shootings at school?
I think they're bad.
Who do you think commits the vast majority of the mass shootings?
I'm sure it's white people.
Right. So how do you feel about that?
All right, hold up. All right, listen. So Tom Pease decided to motherfucking stand here and do this. Okay, so check this out. In 2025, there were 154 incidents of gunfires on school grounds, right, resulting in like 40 deaths and 135. Hang on, bro. Let me stand here and motherfucking little smaller. So, I don't know what the fuck. Oh wait, this one. There we go. Listen, hold up. 49 deaths and 135 injuries, right? This is the south side of Chicago, okay? City of Chicago, right? This is just one city in America. All right, continues to grapple with gun violence, which impacts hundreds of people each year. As of July 7, 2024, there have been 1,200 total reporting shootings in the city. We cannot take our eyes off the ball, right? You know what I'm saying? Yeah, like fucking literally 1,200, okay, compared to 154. Listen, you know what I mean? Piers Morgan is blatantly lying about this shit.
I think that white people do more antisocial violence. I think black people participate in more gang violence. I think that's the difference.
What's the difference to the victims?
There's no difference to the victim, but it's a different kind of crime, and it's a different proportion also. Do you know what percentage of white people are school shooters?
I know that the vast majority of mass shootings in schools in America this century were perpetrated by young white men. And I'm just
what proportion
I'm curious.
What proportion?
I'm curious whether your advice would be to people who have kids in these schools.
Wait, is my mic working?
What proportion? Should they avoid white people at school? Should people with the kids at school avoid young white men at school?
No.
Okay.
Do you know what per capita means? Do you know proportionality? There are more black people proportionally that engage in violent crime or are involved in gangs, especially in these major cities, than there are white people that are school shooters compared to the entire white population. And everybody understands that.
Two-thirds of mass shootings at school perpetrated by white people.
But what proportion of white men commit school shootings? That's the question.
Yeah, I swear to God, like, yo, listen, this dude is ridiculous. Like, real shit, this dude is ridiculous. We literally, like, yo, listen, Brad doesn't take I know what it was. Like, yo, he couldn't find the stat to, like, back his shit up. So he sat there and just acted like an asshole. Right? Again, we get back to 154 incidents, right, in 2025. And it is motherfucking December. Right? And this is from an anti-gun website. So, like, they're going to fucking pump these goddamn numbers as much as possible. Right? Compared to 1,200 in just Chicago. Right? Let's keep this all the way a being.
I've just told you. It's 60-65% of school shootings by white people.
You're telling me what proportion of school shootings are committed by white people. I'm saying what proportion of white people have committed school shootings. Are you playing dumb, or are you just not that
What
smart?
difference does
What's
that
the
make
difference?
to the children lying dead on the ground?
See, now you want to jump on the victims. The difference is you're asking, would you fear white people or black people? And that's the difference. The difference
I'm
is
not. What I'm saying to you is, by your logic, if we now have agreed that the vast majority of mass shootings in schools are committed by white people and predominantly young white men, then presumably your advice would be to avoid young white men because they perpetrate these massacres. But it won't be because they're white, right?
So are you playing dumb, or are you actually dumb?
Maybe
it's
I'm
about
dumb.
proportionality.
Maybe I'm dumb.
You are because you're, well, I don't think you are dumb. I think you're smart, actually, but you're deliberately avoiding per capita. And everybody knows that's the difference. What proportion of white men are school shooters? It's probably 0.00001%. What proportion of black?
I mean, like, we could probably do math on it. We really wanted to fucking stand here and do math. You know what I mean? Like, it's probably wouldn't be really, really difficult. Right. How many white men are there in the US? All right, so so 29 to 30%. So out of we'll take 360 million. What is 30? Do this. Let's get a raw number. 108 million. So 108 million. And 146. What is 146 per people? 140%. 146. 146 is what percent of 108 million? 0.000135 percent. Yo, listen, 0.000135, right? It'll be like, listen, okay. Let's do this real quick. 146, right? Of 108 million shown as parts per 100. Right? It is. Yeah. Parts per 100. The 0.000135, right, out of 100 men, right? So, listen, how many? Well, let's do this. How many black men, in America with violent felony? Okay, so, all right, let's see. Half of black men, right? Hang on. Listen, yo, come on, man. Yo, listen, there gotta be a good job. Like, yo, 51% of the arrests are violent crimes. Yeah, African Americans are 51% of all violent criminals, right? Okay, right? More than 3 in 5 sentenced to state prison have been of violent crime. Yeah. Listen, you know what I mean? Yo, black crime rate percent. Maybe total arrests. It's like, yo. I mean, like, this is the problem. So, like, the number of people arrested for violent crimes is actually way lower than just the number arrested. Like, a lot of people get arrested for, like, not paying parking tickets, that type of fucking dumb shit, you know, disorderly conduct. Right? Shit that, like, yeah, you know, like, it's a crime, but, like, it's not, you know what I mean, or fucking weed or fucking, like, having drugs on you, you know, driving out of license, that type of shit. These are not violent crimes, right? Blacks more than half of all homicide. Okay, all right. chances of being a victim of a violent crime as black male in U.S. And listen, this reported action, bro. Listen, most serious about race, robbery, murder, all violent victims. It won't give you the image. It won't give you the numbers, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, it legitimately won't fucking give you the goddamn number. Because, oh, look, we're lowering it. I'm like, I don't fucking care what's the numbers, right? In the end. Victimization by rate. Because, like, really what you want to do is you want to kind of, like, look up all these fucking stats and understand them. You know what I mean? As percentage of all non-fatal violent crime. Black, African-American, 48%. White, 31%. Native American, 30%. Asian, 42%. Number of homicide victims, right, is 8,000, I guess, something like that. Let's Okay. Chances of being a victim, chances of being a criminal by race per 100. Race and violent criminals. So black people were overrepresented. People not 33%. So shut up, bro. Listen, I always fucking give you. Listen, I feel like y'all should too. By the way, y'all should be on fucking donate to like Wikipedia. Because they do like for the regular stuff, like, oh man, listen, like how many walruses are there in the world? You know what I mean? Crimes found that some racial disappointing represent. Anyway, listen. So I'm just gonna listen. I think we should probably take Nick this one. Let's keep it a bean. So let's go.
Men have committed violent crimes. It's probably like 5%. I don't know what it is off the top of my head, but it's very high. And I would add to that, even as it concerns schools, why do you think parents pay a super high property tax to live in a school district where there's white people? Because they know that if they go to the black school, it's going to be the Bloods and the Crips. It's going to be gangs. It's going to be, you talk about school shootings. Nobody talks about all the school shootings that are committed by gangbangers in and around the school and all the other violence that's associated with that. I mean, these schools in the south side of Chicago, it's just not.
By the way, right? And that's another big thing, right? At the end of the day. So when they start talking about like mass shootings and school shootings and shit, the vast majority of them aren't like some white kid getting like, oh, they picked on me, and they just start shooting at motherfuckers. Ain't what it is. Vast majority of them that are measured by like the FBI are literally like they happen at like 3 a.m, right? Or like there's an apartment complex next door to like the fucking school, and like all of a sudden everybody starts going ham, you know what I mean, and like has a fucking shootout in some project in Section 8 housing or whatever, right? And that's considered a fucking school shooting, or somebody shooting out in the street in front of the fucking school, or like somebody meets after school and they fucking, start clapping motherfuckers, right? Or it's at a football game on the school property, which happens a lot, by the way. And most of those are black people in the end of the day. So let's keep going.
I have an answer for you, Nick. So the proportion of the population who carry out mass shootings is actually the same for black and white.
For white people, the proportion of
the proportion
again,
of the population.
are you hearing it? No.
So I think the trouble with your statistics is a lot of them don't bear much scrutiny. We have a bunch of fact checkers checking all this in real time because you do have a tendency to just come out with a lot of old baloney. And when you say,
okay,
well, it's true. And when you're confronted with reality, you don't like it.
What's the figure? What proportion of white people have committed school shootings? With white people as the denominator and white people that have committed school shootings as the numerator, what's that percentage?
For both black and whites, the proportion of the population who carry out mass shootings generally is about the same.
That's literally not true. All right, listen, we can look this up too, bro. I don't give a fuck. Okay, mass shootings by race. All right, so okay, so let's see here. White individuals can majority about 50%, 56% of mass shootings, though this varies by time mission. Right. Perpetrators also include black, around 20 to 25%. Gun violence is racial justice issue. Black / Hispanic, Latino, and indigenous people are slightly more likely to die from gun violence and victims of firearm homicide. Gun violence surges often occur in areas with high populations of black and Hispanic residents. Black represents victims seeing the greatest increase in research in Philadelphia, New York City. Yeah. Like, yo, this is basic, bro. I mean, this is some basic ass. I don't understand why Pierce would even say this fucking bullshit.
No. Tell me the number, and then
the only focus of your attention is the black shootings, the black crime. You don't want to live around black people. You want to avoid black people. You don't want interracial marriages or relationships that may produce black people. And yet, when I point out to you that there are many parts of crime in America where actually there's a majority of white people that perpetrate them, you don't care. You don't have any interest in that. It doesn't exercise your mind. Maybe because
no one's buying this. This argument lost. No one is buying this. Everybody understands per capita, and people can even see what you race ahead and say, well, we're comparing the proportion of white and black school shooters. I said, no, compare the proportion of school shooters that are white versus violent criminals that are black, because that was the basis of the monologue, is that you're very likely, if you encounter black people or a young black man in the city, that you're going to be the victim of a violent crime, of a robbery, a mugging, a car theft, a carjacking, or a murder. That's the difference, and it's about proportionality. And everybody sees past that because we all live in reality. You want to talk about product of your environment? People that live in New York, Chicago, LA, we live in reality. We live in this environment, and we see what it's like. And the threat, the danger, in terms of probability, it's not even comparable. And I would say this, to your point. If you're in a high school and truly, if you see a white person who looks like a little autistic, he's got the SSRI stare, and he reaches for a backpack, people joke and say, run. Similarly, if you see a jalopy pulling up with a bunch of black people in it and they got their pants around the ankles, you're going to run also. And I'm saying the same thing. The difference is, the latter happens much more often. It's much more common. In Chicago, there's like 10,000 carjackings and car thefts every day. It's in the thousands. It happens all the time. How many mass shootings committed by autistic SSRI white people? I don't even know. I mean, it's probably in the single digits in the last decade in this city. That's the difference, and everybody knows that. But you're really just trying to carry water for liberal ideology. It's an ideological position.
No, I'm really not. I can absolutely.
No, you can absolutely do nothing, right? Because you don't have any fucking numbers. Right? You actually don't have any fucking numbers. You know why? Because those fact checkers aren't as good as I am at using Google. Right? They're really not. So if they can't find the fucking numbers, and if I can't find the numbers, ain't no fucking way you are. Let's keep this all the way 100, Pierce. All right? Stop your fucking bullshit. This is nonsense.
Say, yes, there is way too much black on black crime, for example, involving guns in Chicago.
And black on white also.
Yes, but there is way too much gun violence in Chicago. right? I mean, it's it's indisputable. I've got no problem saying that. The difference is I don't then lead myself into a thought process where I have to avoid all black people in case they shoot me. And you've already conceded that you are a racist. So when people hear you then say, I don't want to be living anywhere near black people, they...
Well, here's the problem, right? So, like, even in white neighborhoods where, like, you move, you know what I mean, like a black family or two black families into a white neighborhood, it's still massive amounts of problems, right? Because, like, my kids, they live in, like, a little white neighborhood up in the fucking mountains and shit. You know what I mean? It's really nice. It's a pretty-ass area. But, like, the black people up there, the black kids, are fucking awful. Like, they're fucking terrible. I'm going to keep it up. They're fucking terrible, right? Let's keep it a beam, bro. Like, listen, like... I damn near went and got my fucking hood-ass black friends to go up there and fuck their parents up, right? Because I'm like, listen, I'm tired of this shit. Y'all was going to take some of the fucking black chicks from down here, bring them up there and let them fuck up their mom, right? Because their little fucking sons were over here fucking putting hands on my daughters. I'm like, the fuck is this? And the school wouldn't do nothing about it because they're racist, you know what I mean? Because they don't want to be seen as being racist, right? It's all fucking nonsense. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, this is all bullshit. Right? Because again, nobody knows how to fucking act. And their attitudes are always violent as shit, right? Like I have a female I fuck and like they stand here and she'll go, oh, I had to whoop my son's ass because he spilled some shit. I'm like, why? He's 2. The fuck you putting hands on your, you know what I mean, 2-year-old for? Like, what the fuck is this? Why? You're like, listen, just because you want to sleep because you're tired, because you got to go to work. Right, you got to handle your business and make money. You know what I mean? Doesn't mean that like, yo, he has to motherfucking like, yo, you have like violence put towards him because like, yo, he's being a fucking 2-year-old and doesn't want to sleep with you. You know what I mean? He doesn't want to rest at the same time you do. Right? This is like, again, like, and motherfuckers don't understand this. And again, 90% of this is jobs. Right? Like, listen, it's the problem of not having intact families, right? Where you can have that structure, right? Where motherfuckers can stand here and have everything in point where it needs to be. So motherfuckers aren't violent, aren't stressed out, aren't worried about shit, aren't constantly trying to handle all the same things all the fucking time. You know what I'm saying? This is the problem. Again, this is an economic issue, right? In the end of the day, and it always has been. And again, it's not about the fact that like, yo, listen, and I'm not making an excuse because it's still true. Listen, no, we should not motherfucking stand here and want to be around violent fucking people, right? Because they're desperate. You don't want to be around desperate humans, ever. Because like when you're okay and they're desperate, they're going to turn you into being desperate because crabs in a bucket is a fucking thing. The moment you climb out the goddamn bucket, them crabs are going to grab a hold of your legs and try to pull themselves the fuck up. That's how this shit works. We're better off if everybody gets the fuck out of the bucket. That way, nobody's pulling on anybody else's legs to pull them back down in the fucking bucket. When the majority of people are in the bucket and everybody's trying to climb the fuck out, you know what I mean? Like, yo, listen, you're going to have to fucking not deal with any of the other crabs in the goddamn bucket. This is what this is. We got to stop pretending.
They already have heard you say, I'm a racist, so they assume you're doing that because of people's skin color. I don't think you would probably dispute that, right?
Well, you're separating two different things. The monologue, when I
yeah, Jalopy's like a piece of shit car, right? Back in the day, like it would be like a big ass old Buick or Oldsmobile that was like beat up and have rust all over it, missing hubcaps and shit. You know what I mean? The fucking fan belt screech going down the road. They called that a jalopy. Jalopy is against their like Italian / Eastern European slang term, right? It comes out of like the Midwest. You know, fucking, it's a car term, right? Jalopy. How do you not know what jalopy is, bro? I'm fucking tired of you Zoomers. Like,
I said, I don't want to live around black people. That was after Irina Zarutska got shot. And it's true. I mean, they are largely in this city, in Chicago.
Shut your mouth, man. Listen, my favorite car ever was a Pontiac Bonneville. I named my daughter Bonnie after a motherfucking Pontiac Bonneville. All right. I love me a motherfucking Bonneville. Listen, that's one of my favorite cars of all time. Love that fucking car. Okay. But you're right. A lot of them were more like the Grand Prix, right? I don't know if you ever seen like a 1987 Grand Prix, right? You know what I mean? Like fucking, no. Let's go with 83. Images. They look really nice. We'll go 73 Grand Prix. Yeah. Here we go. Hold up. What can y'all see? Oh man, listen, I got the rid of this. Go capture. Yeah, listen, that's a, you know what I mean? Imagine this all beat up, right? Unrestored. Beat up. Yeah, listen, hold up. Here we go. Here's a jalopy. Right, hang on, man. Here, listen. Yo, look. That's a fucking jalopy right there, dog. That is a jalopy in a quarter at the moment. Right? Jalopies. You know what I'm saying? That's a fucking jalopy right. So go back to this. Right? You know what I mean? That way we can understand what the fuck's going on. Right? There we go. Okay, let's keep going.
Go the south side, the west side, huge criminal population, and I don't want to live anywhere near it. And I do. I want to live in a white neighborhood. I think that that's extremely desirable, and I think even black people do.
Nick, you're perfectly entitled to that view. But when you have obviously prefaced all this by saying, I am a racist, unashamedly, then people will assume that all your thought processes about all of these issues are driven by an aversion to people based on their skin color, which is the purest.
Now, listen, here's how crabs in a bucket work, right? Okay, so you can throw crabs, and this is actually like an old school fisherman term. Basically, when you're fishing for crabs, right? You know what I mean? You catch a whole bunch of crabs. You can just throw them all in one bucket, right? Without a lid. And the reason is because as one tries to climb out, the rest of them will grab its legs, right? And try to use it to climb out, right? And like none of them will ever escape because like they're each pulling each other down every time they're trying to get the fuck out, right? That's the crab in the bucket thing, okay? It's not about them ripping each other apart in the bucket, which will happen. You know what I mean? They will feast on you. You know what I mean? They will 100% feast on you because like everything will find like a level of like fucking equality and shit, right? Once you're down at the goddamn bottom, because, and it's not, this is a beautiful part of humanity too, right? Let's not shit on this, okay? Because I don't know if you've ever met like that poor girl, right? You know what I mean? Like that chick who has nothing. And I know a female, she's like schizophrenic and like, she's all fucked up in the game. She's always almost homeless. But every animal she meets, she wants to take care of, right? You know what I mean? Everybody she meets, she wants to help, you know what I mean? And she loves everybody, right? And that's beautiful, okay? There's nothing, we shouldn't shit on that because that's the best part of humans, right? It's the motherfuckers who have almost nothing and still want to show love to others. They're not bitter, they're not angry, right? They just love each other and they'll do whatever they can for each other. That's beautiful. Okay, let's not, you know what I mean, be on that level. But understand something, when you all down there, right, other motherfuckers will expect you to be like that. Like, hey, listen, you come from here, help us out, right? And, you know, you end up having to drag 3-4 crabs with you up out the bucket. You know what I mean? You got to have that strength to do that sometimes. But that is the crab in the bucket syndrome. Keep going.
Personification of racism.
Well, it's not an aversion. I would say it's the opposite. I like my own people. My own people are familiar to me, and I think that's true across the board. I think that people seek out other people that are like themselves, and every other group does this, whether it's blacks, Hispanics, Asians. You know, I get a lot of attacks when I talk about that I'm against interracial marriage. And what's funny is that every other group is against interracial or interethnic marriage. Jews,
but you're the
Chinese,
product of an interracial marriage.
Yeah, I mean, that's debatable.
Not
Let's
really.
say for the sake of argument, sure.
No, you're the product of an interracial marriage. And your father is part Mexican. You're literally,
for the sake of argument,
the very person you've just told me you want to avoid.
What race is Hispanic? Is that a race?
Well, what do you think it is?
I'm asking you, what race is Hispanic?
Hispanic, of course it's a race. It's called Hispanic.
I mean, like, listen, so this is the thing. Okay, so what type of Mexican are we talking here? Right? Are we talking like, you know, Speedy Gonzalez, like fucking 5'2", you know what I mean, Asian, little brown Asian looking motherfucker? Or are we talking like Conquistador? right? Because that's just Spanish, right? Then you're just talking about a European again, right? I mean, is it a race? Because like you have different Mexicans, right? You had the Mexicans who look like Italians or Jews or Turks, right? And then you had the Mexicans who, you know what I mean, look like, you know, fucking little, you know what I mean, indigenous motherfuckers who should be in like a jungle climbing a tree, right? They're different types of Mexican, right? You know what I mean? The end of the day, right? Like, you know, which Mexican are we talking about here? Because one, they are two different races of people. 100% they are. One's an Asian, one's a fucking European. But like, you know, which one are they? And yeah, I know they're mixed. I get it, right? 20% admixture from all of them, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Right? But all these like percentages are fucking kind of retarded. You know what I mean? The end of the day, right? It actually doesn't like have any real shit when it comes down to it.
It's a mix between two races. It's a mix between indigenous Americans and
It's not white
Europeans.
though, is it? It's not white.
Well, you're apparently you're more of a racial purist than me. You got like
Not
a
really. You just keep saying you only want to live in a white neighborhood, but you're literally from a mixed race background yourself. You've literally got Mexican blood.
I know, and I live in a non-white neighborhood too. I'm trying to get out of here though, but I'm trying to get out. But here's the thing.
Do you have any non-white? Do you have any non-white friends? Genuine question.
Most of my friends are non-white. Most of my friends are not, and non-white people love my show.
How many are black?
The honesty.
How many of your friends are black?
Many of them, like at least a dozen.
Wow.
Ye being one who you know, Sneeko being another who you also know.
Yeah. So how do they feel when you say you just want to be away from any black people, walk away from them?
Well, you know what Ye told me? I'll tell you verbatim what he said. That it doesn't come from a place of, and you use the word aversion. That's the first thing I'll actually dispute.
Okay.
It's not an aversion on the basis of skin color, because that would seem to suggest it's like a stubborn, irrational bigotry. I don't consider myself a bigot. I consider myself a racial realist. I'm realistic about how the races are, and I speak provocatively about it. And I speak provocatively about our tribalistic instincts and tendencies as human beings. And I'm not a liberal ideologue that says that over time and with enough education, we're all going to see this great brotherhood where we're colorblind and everybody's the same. You know, I don't think that's ever going away. I think that race is real. It's not just skin deep. It matters to us and it matters to each other. And black people know that, and Hispanics know that, and Asians know that, and people like me that have partial Mexican ancestry, we know that too. And I think on that basis, we can have mutual respect and understanding, not aversion based on skin.
Answered emphatically that you don't hate all Jews. Is that correct? That's your position?
Yes.
Okay. So I want to play you this clip.
Well, I don't hate any Jews. Let me just amend that. I don't hate any Jews.
Okay. Okay. Let's play this clip.
The reason I've had it is because my opposition to world Jewry and Israel is rooted in absolute, uncontestable fact. We have the truth on our side. That's why we're winning. Because we are telling the truth about the historical antagonism between Jews and Europeans, between Jews and Christians.
Novison, I fucking don't care. All right, Neffel, I don't care at all. I don't give any fucks whatsoever. Right? Listen, I'm not talking about like the minorities in these fucking countries. I'm talking about the plurality of human beings in Mexico, right? Are motherfucking either motherfucking like Mexican, right? You know what I mean? Which is like the Mexicano fucking Aztecs, or, you know what I mean, the conquistador whites, right? And then there's like black slaves and shit too, right? But like, I don't fucking care. Right? I don't fucking care.
Theological, historical, racial, cultural, and political antagonisms between organized Jewry and the Christians, organized Jewry and Europeans. And the reason that we are winning that argument is because it's real, it's true. I can prove it, I can show you, I can name the names, I can show you the paper trail, the money. That is why we're winning. That is why all of this is raising the consciousness.
When you say you have this opposition to world Jewry, I mean, it's one thing to criticize, for example, the Israeli government over what it's been doing in Gaza. I've done that myself. When you talk about world Jewry, I presume you're talking about the 15 million Jews in the world, and you are opposed to them. How does that square with your position that you don't hate any Jews?
Well, do you take issue with my use of the term world Jewry?
Well, what do you mean by that?
Or do you take issue with it? Do you have a problem with that?
Clarify what you mean by it.
Well, it's funny you bring that up. The gaslighting's crazy because I use that expression on my show all the time. I say organized Jewry, world Jewry. And do you know that for like 30 years, the World Jewish Congress has an annual keynote called the State of World Jewry? Barry Weiss has given it. You can look it up. It's on YouTube. She gives the State of World Jewry address.
But Nick, what do you mean by it?
I mean, you have to talk about, there's a concept of Jewish peoplehood. It's the sense that they are part of a common nationality, a common tribe, a common people. And so where they reside in Israel, the United States or Europe or elsewhere, they see each other above or maybe on a different level alongside their nationality, their state, wherever they reside. If they're in Germany, France, the United States, they see themselves as part of a transnational nation, of an international nation. The Jews in America, the Jews in Israel, they identify as Israeli or American, but they also have something in common. They identify as part of a common nation, which I would say there's a world Jewish population. It's world Jewry. And world Jewry has representatives. There is such a thing as the World Jewish Congress, where they actually elect, it's democratic, all the local Jewish organizations elect representatives to represent proportionally the Jewish population in their area at the World Jewish Congress. And it's sort of like Davos. It's like the World Economic Forum.
Yo, listen, right. Jews are like any other like fucking country of people in the world, right? You know what I mean? Except Europeans. Where like the Jews will stand here and work towards Jewish interests. The Chinese work towards Chinese interests, right? The Koreans work toward Korean interests, right? The motherfucking Vietnamese work toward Vietnamese interests. Like the fucking, the Saudi Arabians work towards like fucking, so like the Islamists work towards Islamic interests, right? The Africans work towards African interests, right? Like this is the thing, right? But like the Jews are much more organized because they're a much smaller group and they're much more in-group biased. There's times when Jewish people went into like neighborhoods, in particular in like upstate New York. They'll go in and then they'll start busing in more and more of their people, right? Until like they take over a neighborhood and then they'll like take over the school board and they'll force the school district to build a Jewish school for the Jewish kids, right? Now, here's the thing. Everybody has a problem with this except me, because I think we should be doing that. Right? I think that's something that should be done, as each individual, like fucking peoples in America. I think the Germans should do that. I think the Italians should do that. I think the Anglos should do that. I think everybody should do this shit for their people. Right? I think that's something that should be done. Right? Because the blacks want to do this for their people and they keep getting fucked up by like, the Anglos, who continually go, no, we're not going to have that happen. Right? And I think that we should have like separate things for our own people to teach our own cultures and our own ways of life, because we would be better off as a species, right? As like, as an animal, if we ate the things that we were supposed to eat and keep the culture that we're supposed to keep, right? And not be a Merrimutz where we're all sitting here like diabetic and fucked up, and like in this terrible shape, right? Because we all have our own strengths and weaknesses. All of us have our own shit that, like makes us capable of like living in a proper manner, right? Like if you got a dog, say you got like, a German Shepherd or a Shih Tzu or whatever it is, each of these breeds of dogs have their own things that they need, right? Like one has hip dysplasia, one has longer hair, one has shorter hair, one has, like fucking, loves the cold, one can't fucking deal with the cold, one loves the hot, one fucking can't tolerate the hot, right? These things are just normal understood things about these animals. But we as human beings like don't have these conversations because we don't think that we're fucking animals, and we are, right? In the end of the day. And this is just a logical way of looking at this. I don't know why it is that like we don't want to have that conversation. Like I get it, like the Nazis would go, oh, well, that's, he would stand here and have a good time if he stood here and did this, right? No, that make a good job for a Negro, right? That type of shit. Like, this is fucking dumb. Yeah, listen, I'm terrible at accent. I apologize. Like, I apologize deeply. Like, I'm not a German. right? So yeah, you know what I mean. I don't think that's a terrible thing in the end of the day, right? Let's move on to motherfucking the woman thing, right? Because I got a bunch of shit.
Really, you've talked about this. You've talked about.
Are we done talking about white genocide?
Well, no, I'm coming to the
now?
same part because you seem very resistant to the idea of marriage. You've never got married. You've talked very scathingly about henpecked husbands. Just take a look.
That's true.
Guys get to a certain age and they're like, you know what? Women suck. Like, they're talking too much. They're not hot anymore. Like, you're fat, you're chubby, you're not as hot as you think you are. You fucking talk too much. You're a bitch.
So we'll obviously get to the brazen misogyny part of that a little later. But I'm just curious. On the one hand, there's this terrible genocide going on of white people. On the other hand, you want people effectively to stop going near women because they all turn out to be so ghastly, so they shouldn't presumably procreate. So how does that work? I mean, aren't you, with your rhetoric, actively encouraging men not to associate with these ghastly women, therefore not have any more children? Therefore, you are contributing, Nick Fuentes, to the diminishing white population. I'm confused.
I tell my followers to get married all the time. I tell them that it's best for everybody to get married. And I think that's the only way that you can have sex. I think that's the only licit way as a Catholic, as to have sex, is within marriage.
Why don't you get married?
I'll get married later. It's been difficult for me because people are shooting at me at my house. I don't know that I don't want to have kids and a wife. You know, my wife would be screaming about that. Me, you know, I have to.
Homer in the Iliad, I think it was Iliad, I'm pretty sure, or the Odyssey. It might have been the Odyssey. I think it might have been the Odyssey. He said, home is what keeps man from becoming a hero, right? That's important to understand, right? Like, if you're going to do like these great, crazy accomplishments and build yourself from absolutely nothing, right? You know, you're probably not going to want to have a home. Now, the thing is, though, right, is that Nick Fuentes is, you know what I mean, like in his 20s running this motherfucking race that he's running, right? You know what I mean? He's right now, you know what I mean, like running his motherfucking race because he can and he has the ability to do so. Us, right, we're older and we know that we're not going to end up being these people. So in the end of the day, it's better for us to understand that, like, yes, home is what keeps us from becoming a hero, but in our homes, our children are the ones who see us as heroes, right? And there's nothing wrong with that, right? Like, not all of us are meant to be heroes. The amount of human beings who are going to go down in history as great men are unbelievably small portion of society, right? To be a fact, if you think back through history, like the amount of people who, you know, are written about are one in like 4 or 5 billion people. And that's kind of by design because we're not supposed to disrupt ourselves constantly. And those men are highly disruptive. So this is something that you need to understand. You're not going to be the greatest man who's ever lived. And there's nothing wrong with that. Be happy with what you have, right? See, just a piece of wisdom, you know what I mean, from an older motherfucker who's lived a little bit.
To be able to take risks and be able to say these things, it's difficult to bring a family into a life that's like that. But for my followers, I tell them to get married. But what's happening with women?
You literally just told your followers,
well,
hang on, in that clip, you literally told followers, women, they get old, they get fat, they get ugly, they get very annoying. So where's the incentive to get married to women? There isn't one. You're actively telling them the opposite.
You're extrapolating a lot. We can complain.
Just quoting you back yourself again.
No, but you're extrapolating and saying, well, you say women are annoying, so therefore, what's the incentive? We have to do it in spite of the fact that they are annoying. We have to do it in spite of the fact that they talk too much. We can get them to lose weight. We can put them on peptides. We can get them to the promised land, but it's going to be
Do you think this view of women may be why none of them want to go near you?
Oh, you should see my DMs.
Listen, Piers, I believe it's time. Wait, wrong one. There we go. Look here. But listen, hold up. That's Tom Piece. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? Like, yo, that's Tom Piece. So understand, you know what I mean? This ain't coming from an ugly motherfucker, right? Look, this is Pierce's wife, right? This here, right, is Pierce's wife being held up by 3 Navy motherfuckers, right? You know what I mean? I get it. This is probably like a photo op or whatever the case is. So let's move on, right? You know, this here is motherfucking like, yo, Pierce Morgan's wife, like holding a sex bot's titty. Pierce Morgan's wife hanging out with some dude at a motherfucking ball. You know what I'm saying? On the motherfucking Instagram. Just been given loan by his wife. I may be some time. To mama. Right? Yeah. Come on. Turn on. You know what I mean? Behave. Right? Her over here with some random ass black guy. I don't know who the fuck this is. This is like, everybody thought that this was like a, whatchamacallit. I got this directly from her Instagram, right? Why we all need a best boyfriend. His wife hanging out with some dude, Pierce Morgan standing over here in the cuck chair and shit. Right? Like, listen, the fuck. One thing led to another. Whoops, in bed with Rupert. Her hanging out with Rob Lowe. If anyone's distracting enough to make you slice off half your own head, it's Mr. Lowe. Don't rush home, Pierce. By the way, the Groypers, you know what I'm saying? Like in here, Jesus, why have enemies when you can marry this? Do you see Pierce Murdoch why the red pill exists? Fucking irony, right? You know what I mean? Like, yo, again, like if I get 1000% making cuck shit in the, making Pierce sit in the cuck chair, right? Piers Morgan's wife sitting on the lap of motherfucking Lenny Kravitz. All right. Lenny Kravitz, for those who don't know, is a motherfucking rock star. Right. You know what I mean? I got to get away. I got to ride away. Yeah. Yeah. He was like a sex symbol back in the 90s. And on this post, she said, motherfucking, like, yo, he was on a 3-year motherfucking celibacy. Man, listen, I don't care, right? Listen, celibacy, right? Yeah, we'll go with that. You know what I mean? Celibacy. Why can't I pronounce that word right now? Right? Anyway, doesn't matter. Motherfucking, he was being celibate for 3 years. Listen, see, there I can do it, right? Celibate, right? Yeah, listen, celibacy. There we go. Yeah, celibacy, motherfucking. I didn't even look up the word. I'm just sitting there trying to figure it out in my head. Yeah, a celibacy, motherfucking sabbatical, right? He was, you know, I mean, not having sex for 3 years, and she was upset about the fact that she couldn't catch that motherfucking Lenny Kravitz long stroke. Yo, Pierce, dog. You know what I mean? Come on, homie. You know what I mean? You gotta fucking stop with this bullshit, bro. Like, real shit. You gotta stop with this motherfucking bullshit. Like, this is, you know what I mean? Like, over here chastising other dudes, right? Over here chastising other men. Shut it off. Shut it down, right? Chastising other motherfucking men, dog. Chastising other men. So I put that up, motherfucking, my pictures on there because, like, Discord night, you know what I'm saying? Motherfuckers like, you're just a fat motherfucker, right? And, like, you know, I'm hanging out at the crib. I ain't got no webcam on this bitch. You know what I mean? So I throw a picture up. I'm like, yeah, I'm fat, right? Like, I'm fat, pussy. Is that what it is? Yeah, listen, I'll fuck your bitch, nigga. The fuck out of here. Listen. Yo, Pierce, bro, stop.
It is quite the opposite. They're called the Groybettes, and I'm actually batting them away. Granted, not all of them are attractive. Some of them are attractive.
Are you actually? Look, just to clear up one of the many theories about you, I've no idea what the answer is, and you haven't got to answer. But are you actually attracted to women?
I am attracted to women.
You're not gay?
No. But I will say that women are very difficult to be around.
Okay.
So there's that.
And do you think they should have the right to vote?
I do not. No, absolutely not.
They should stay at home?
Well, yeah, absolutely.
See, basically, you're just a misogynist old dinosaur, aren't you? For a young guy.
Yeah.
I mean,
Y'all listen, bro. Like, listen, he lined this shot up, right? Like fucking week ago. He had that, he had this in his bag. He was waiting to pull this motherfucking line out, bro. He was waiting to pull this line out.
I know I'm the boomer. I know I'm the boomer here, but actually, you're a 27-year-old dinosaur, aren't you? Aren't you, Nick Fuentes? All women.
I am.
Aren't you? Aren't you, Nick Fuentes? You're just a dinosaur, right? Listen, he was waiting to pull this line out like it was just gonna land hard. Bro, listen, everybody's over here like, yo, what is this cringe ass bullshit, bro? Like, what is this nonsense? Like, yo, this cucked ass fucking boomer, right? His wife is on Instagram. Not once is his wife going, look how sexy my husband is. But she's over here like, oh my God, I can't wait to see this fucking guy. Right? And there's shit she's taken down, right? Since. Like the guy in the motherfucking banana hammock, right? Washing her motherfucking car. Right? She's like, oh, fucking Mr. Suds is out to play. Or fucking, yo, when my husband's away, don't come home soon, Piers. Right? You know what I mean? Like, yo, what is this bullshit, bro? Like, yo, what? Like, not once have you said your husband's sexy on your Instagram. Not fucking once. Right? Let's keep this all the way 100. Right? Like, yo, not once have you complimented your husband on your Instagram. You haven't gone, yo, listen, my husband's so sexy. Like, oh man, yo, he's so hot. Fucking thank God I have him. Nothing like that, right? You know, it's this bullshit of like, oh man, I'm married. You know what I mean? It's such a bummer. I'd be fucking all these guys if I wasn't fucking married. Or, oh, you know, fucking look at all this meat out here that I'm not able to fucking have because, you know what I mean, I had to settle for, you know what I mean, the guy who just has motherfucking chickens at the house or whatever the fucking bullshit it is. It's fucking garbage ass shit, man. Fucking these modern ass fucking females are fucking trash, though. Let's keep it a bean.
All women are annoying. All women grow old. They all get fat. Says the guy, have you ever had sex?
No, absolutely not.
Wow. Says the guy who's never got laid. Wow.
That's the thing, though. You boomers, it's
you think
always
you're an expert in women,
free love.
given you've never got laid?
Yeah, we are going back to the Stone Age. You're absolutely right. This, you know, you're talking about.
And Piers is a Catholic too, bro. Like Catholics don't believe in marriage. You know what I'm saying? Before motherfucking like wedding, before or sex out of wedlock, right? Like yo, he's standing on his motherfucking religion. Like, bro, listen, just leave leave the Catholic Church, Piers. You know what I'm saying? Like, stop being a Catholic. Like, yo, real shit. Like, just admit you're an atheist. You want to like yo, you can't pretend to be be fucking like religious. And then not have any of the tenets that God told you. It's not how this works. Come on, dog.
About empathy and your kids are empathetic and they would never laugh at a joke about the Holocaust and you're a misogynist. You're a simp yourself. You're totally henpecked. That's the problem. So we are going back to the way. Let me
play another clip of yours about women.
A lot of women want to be raped. And when I say raped, I mean like, that sounds bad when I say it like that. But there's like a lot of women that really want a guy to beat the shit out of them. But also they have to pretend, but part of it is they have to pretend like they don't.
You think women want to be raped, do you?
That's what the studies show, Piers. That is what these statistics say.
But that's what you believe,
they have fantasies.
Yo, listen. I'm gonna put it like this, right? I've been with many women, okay? Right. I'm with a woman right now who like legitimately she's like, listen, just throw me over your motherfucking shoulder and take me like a fucking savage. Right. You know what I'm saying? Just like, yo, she literally puts it up on her feet. Like if she goes, if you see my man fucking, if you see some guy just grab me and throw me over his shoulder and carry me the fuck off, don't worry, I'm in good hands. Right. Like, listen, this is what females want. Right. There's nothing misunderstood about that. Okay. Like I've had a bunch of females who like, they would provoke fights. Right. And then like, yo, they would provoke fights to the point where they start putting hands on me. You know what I mean? And I put hands back on them. And then it turns into some crazy sexcapade. This is a lot of females' fantasies. They want a guy who's strong. They want a guy who's violent. Right. They want to be like fucking taken like like animals. Right. They want their fucking head shoved in the motherfucking wall and like fucking just rammed up their ass. That's what they want. Right. It's fucking wild. Because like all of us dudes are like, listen, bro, we kind of just want peace. Like we've been battling our whole fucking lives. I want you to be my fucking place where I can just curl up and chill. You know what I mean? Like that's what every dude wants. Like I just need a soft place to land. Like I don't want to have to be out here going ham and battling the entire world and then coming home and battling fucking you. Right? That shit's fucking terrible. We fucking hate it. But that's what a lot of women want. I don't know what to tell y'all. You know what I'm saying? Like, it is what it is.
They have fantasies about it. I don't think that they want to actually get raped, but there is a study out there. Get ready for this. It says 62% of women have rape fantasies. And if you read anything that they're reading, if you watched what they're watching, what do you think 50 Shades of Grey is about? What do you think Twilight is about? I mean, that's just true.
You think women want to have the shit beaten out of them, as you said?
Yeah, and it's very disturbing, but it's true.
Do you think your views on women might change if you actually ever had a relationship with one, or had sex and actually had a proper relationship? I mean, people say the reason you're so angry about women is you're basically an incel.
Well, I'm not angry about it.
You sound very angry. You sound very...
He doesn't sound very angry at all, right? You know what I mean? He sounds realistic. He sounds disappointed. 100% he sounds disappointed, right? But this is just reality of what shit is. Piers, like, bro, your wife literally cucks you. Come on, dog. Like, you'll be real about things, right? Your wife is over here, you know what I mean, like getting grabbed on by, you know what I mean, like high-end dudes on a regular basis, right? Come on now, bro. Like, get nothing misunderstood about what this is.
Very, very angry about women. They get
I'm passionate.
That
it's an issue.
You're
I'm
not passionate.
about.
You're sounding very bitter about women, as if women are...
Yeah, tragically hip hop. We got a bunch of shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can go back and listen to the stream. You know what I mean? We've been getting into it. I've been fucking looking up stats, and you know what I mean? I showed motherfucking, you know, Piers Morgan's wife out here cucking him and shit. You know what I mean? Like, listen, you know, I'm about to get up off of here in a second because I gotta go to work in like fucking 5 minutes. So I apologize that you just showed up and I'm getting the fuck out of here in a minute. You know what I mean? But like, it is what it is. But yeah, listen, we're gonna shut this down for the meantime, to be honest with you, because I have got to motherfucking get my ass fucking up and dressed. Well, not dressed. I got to throw some socks and shoes. So I'm gonna holla at y'all tomorrow. It's as always, bro. Like, listen, love y'all motherfuckers. Thank you all for showing the fuck up. You know the deal. Peace be like one. I'm up out of here. Later.